Dr. Bill Katip's numerous years of academic administrative experience have been invaluable in his role as president of Grace College and Grace Theological Seminary. And paramount to Grace is the desire to represent Christ, honoring the Lord through engaging positive change in the lives of students, faculty, community, and in general, the world at large. Good to have you with us today, sir.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, we've had you on before, but this is a topic that we need to keep coming back to, and that's the idea and the value of Christian higher education. And, you know, to those that may be a little skeptical today about the place of Christian college and higher education in our world, what say you?
I think it's more important than ever. I believe we have a battle of the minds going on. And I honestly believe there's lots of great institutions, you know, all over the country, certainly in our state, in our city here. But I really believe it's the most complete education. We talk at Grace about strengthening character, sharpening competence, preparing for service, all from a biblical perspective, applying biblical values. And I believe it's the most complete package for our young people and adults alike today.
And that might make Grace stand out head and shoulders above many, because you know, again, one of the criticisms is the creeping, the mission creep when it comes to Christian higher education, and institutions kind of sliding on the scale towards maybe more liberal and less biblical worldview.
Yeah, there's probably 4,000 four-year schools in our country, in the U.S. alone, and maybe 120 that would be like Grace or Bethel here in town. It's a pretty small group of the evangelical schools where we have a high view of Scripture. And we believe it's complete life. It's not just doing something in a chapel. It's not just something having on a Sunday, but it's actually applying those biblical values, all disciplines, whether it be math, science, history. So, yeah, we're a pretty small group.
Okay, so you said your first sentence, you talked about service. You know, most universities don't talk about going out and serving. It's what you can get, how much money you can make, you know, making a difference in your own life. So not only are we talking about academics, we're talking about character and that community service aspect.
Yeah, again, when we say the complete package, we actually made a radical change in our curriculum a few years ago, and we say it's actually a requirement. Every student has to have 12 credits of applied learning. And there was a day, certainly teachers, a person who'd be a teacher ed major, they did student teaching. Scientists did the labs, but a lot of our majors at Grace, and frankly most schools today, if you do an applied part, but no longer at Grace, every student has to have 12 credits of applied learning. We just think it's where the world is. It's biblical. We're to give back, and we start that early on in their experience.
So how are you remaining competitive with, say, secular universities? I saw online the other day you have an accelerated program. I was like, what? I didn't have to pay for that fourth year of college?
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
I talk a lot about faith-based, affordable excellence.
Okay.
And, you know, you'll recall several years ago the recession hits, our state grants were cut. It affected, we still get a lot of first-generation college students. That's who we are here in northern Indiana. So we've really taken it seriously, working on affordability. This 3-year program was one way. So student can achieve any of our degrees in 3 years, and then 2 summers. And we put the summer school online so they can be back home working. And it's been an amazing journey to see how the Lord's used that in the lives of students.
Yeah, you can see on that infographic there, you graduate with a bachelor's in 3, add a master's in 4, but also the fact that tuition isn't going to increase, and that all the books are free, which really adds up to quite a bit over the course of a degree.
Free books?
Yeah.
I wish someone had told me.
You know, we did this 3-year program, and we saw it really working on enrollment, and more students were coming. So we did a second phase of affordability called a measure of grace. We played off the beautiful words, you know, unmerited favor. And we did a one-time, a 9% cutback on tuition. But what stays is every year you return, you get a $500 reduction in tuition. And then number 3, free book rentals. When I announced this in chapel, you should have heard our students about the book rentals.
Yeah.
I think financial aid and parents do the tuition, but the books from their summer jobs, they gave me a standing ovation. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, it's just our way of trying to step in and helping families. And it's worked. We had, the year after the recession, We went from 353 to 290 freshmen. This year we'll have about 460. We also have about 35 or 40 in Indianapolis. So it's making it more affordable. I wish we didn't have to charge tuition at all, but it's helping a lot of families have this sort of opportunity.
One of the concerns that I've heard from other families that have got college-age kids, and I've got 3 that have gone up through those ranks, and 1 more still to go. So probably
still on your payroll, one of them.
We'll be calling you here in a little bit.
That's right.
Is if my daughter goes to a Christian college, doesn't that kind of insulate them a little too much from quote unquote the real world? Will they have disadvantages in knowing how to deal with the conflict and the battle that they'll face, once they move into a career?
Yeah, and I'm not putting down my friends at the public universities or secular privates, but to be honest with you, that's where the bubble is. Our universities.
That's a great point.
Our universities represent the strongest amount of liberalism concentrated in one place. You can't be a conservative hardly and talk about conservative, let alone biblical values. So we think it's the real world. We think it's preparation. It's not a bubble. It's a chance to experience life and apply biblical values as you work through life. So I just reject that.
Yeah, that's actually a great point there, that the bubble exists
You bet.
in the very liberalized secular college institutions where you don't get to think too much for yourself. Going back to some of the benefits and just the grace that Grace affords, opportunities for scholarships, grants as well?
Yeah, we absolutely do. In addition to these tuition measures, that's an important piece to realize, and I'm glad you asked about it, because sometimes people see the sticker price, as we say, but we give a lot of financial aid. I mean, I think this year alone we'll give about $12 million of institutional financial aid. $12 million. That's a school with about 2,300 students, a budget of under $40 million. So again,
fantastic.
Nobody hardly pays the full price. We give academic awards, athletic awards, a lot of need-based money. We use the FAFSA, of course, but a lot of financial aid is given. And we just encourage families to try, take a look and see whether it could work out.
Dr. Katip, both secular and Christian colleges and universities have come under fire with our recent laws about transgender rights and what have you. How will Christian colleges survive this fiery conversation that we're having in our nation today?
Yeah, Lord willing, carefully and with grace. We have to know when to speak up. We have to know when to wait. We try to stay out of the political fray, but I will come out fighting for religious freedom. Our state needs schools like Grace. Our country needs it. If schools like Grace were to shut down, you take all the students, and if they were to go into the public system, and families pay because of the distinctiveness, if they had to go to the public system, it'd be a tremendous expense to our state. We graduate students at higher rates, we retain students, but it's delicate. But we are fighting hard for our religious freedoms, to hire faculty who believe and interpret the Word, to have the lifestyle, behavioral standards, but we're not anti anything, but we are for religious freedom.
So there's Grace College and Grace Theological Seminary. Obviously, Theological Seminary points to preparation for ministry and full-time ministry in many disciplines there. But when it comes to the liberal arts college, what are some of the concentrations that Grace offers?
Yeah, actually, our largest school, we have a school system, how we're organized, would actually be our School of Business, and a variety of the business disciplines. Accounting, we're proud of that. Our students often score in the top 10 of 800 or so schools for CPA exam first.
Fantastic.
So we're proud, but accounting, marketing, business management. Several years ago, we moved our sports management to the business school. So it's really about marketing. Chuck can tell you all about that. So the business would be a large program for us. Our whole behavioral sciences, counseling, psychology, both undergrad and grad, great program. KCREP accredited, preparing community mental health counselors, like graphic design, communications, people that could get into situations like what you folks do. Certainly, even at the undergraduate level, there would be some ministry preparations, youth ministries. Brand new program just started, urban ministries. Our students spend an entire year out in Philadelphia in one of the what many would call roughest sections of the city, just doing learning about how you apply that love of Jesus to people every day. So
wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Bill Katip, our guest here today, president of Grace College and Grace Theological Seminary. To connect with Dr. Katip or find out more, you can go to grace.edu or go to our website, harvest-tv.com. You'll find an easy way to link over to Grace. Coming up later, your prayer requests, but up next, we're going to hear from Brian Bush. He joins us from Jerusalem with today's devotional, God's Response to Injustice. We'll be right back.